What up, loungers? New era. It's time to switch to video. So I migrated everything from Podbean over to Spotify. So if you happen to be hearing this and you still listen on Podbean, just know the new episodes won't be downloading there. They're going to be, or uploading, they're going to be going to Spotify. So if you are looking for the podcast, that's where it's going to be. Obviously, you can still find it in all the directories, but the main source is going to be Spotify. And I think that video is just a way to go. And so here we are. I have a voice or a face for radio. And that's where we're at. So anyways, I saw a video the other day that really made me think. And it's got me, it doesn't have me conflicted because I know where I stand with this. So the video is of a young man who is traveling across. He's just traveling. I don't know where he's going, but he's traveling. Stops at a rest stop and has two young daughters. Now, he looks to be maybe 23 years old. The kids look to be under 4, barely out of diapers if they are at all. And he pulls into this rest stop. He goes into the women's restroom with these two young girls. Now, what we've been told is that he checked to see if it was empty. There was no women in there. He entered the restroom with his two young daughters, went into the stall, was able to do what they needed to do. And on his way out, he washed his hands, washed the girls' hands. During that time, a gentleman opened the door and started to call 911 because there was a man in the women's restroom. And he's essentially arguing with this guy. He's arguing with the 911 dispatchers that there's a man in the women's restroom. And then he even tells them that he's with the two young girls. And the video that we see is from the young dad who is filming him. He put the camera to film the interaction so that he had video proof of what was going on. There doesn't look anything suspicious. It doesn't look like it's funny. It's straight up a dad helping his two daughters. And this guy who's yelling is scaring the girls. They're obviously crying. They're in tears. And the biggest complaint that this guy has is the fact that his mother-in-law needs to use the restroom. Not a safety issue, just the fact that his mother-in-law needs to use the restroom. Here's the thing. Well, let's back up for a sec. Inside the restroom is a store manager or a store worker. I don't know if it's the manager or not. That's what the video says, but it may not be. And she's very cordial. She's accommodating. She's helping the dad. She gets paper towels for the girls. Like, she's doing what she should be doing, and she's trying to help them along, which is great because I can tell you right now, as a dad with young kids, love the fact when people want to help if they're doing it properly and know what they're doing. And she did, and she was helping. And so, the guy's on the phone with 911. Cops do show up. Talk about that in a sec. But here's the thing, right? There's a lot of things that could have been done differently on both ends, right? Number one, from the old man who was yelling and calling 911, dude, you had 30 seconds left when this guy was washing hands. Maybe 30 seconds, if that, from the time the video starts. So how long were you really waiting? Obviously not that long, because you can see him on the phone where he starts saying, yeah, he's in the restroom with the two girls right now. So it doesn't sound like he's been on the phone for very long. The dad's washing the hands with himself, of his own hands and his girl's hands. And again, they said he checked to make sure no one's in there. Cool. Leave it at that, man. Life is hard. We don't need to be injecting ourselves into other people's problems. And this really isn't anybody's problem. It's obviously a problem for the older lady. So let me back up. The man who was calling 911, his mother-in-law needed to use the restroom. She's in a walker, so I'm assuming she doesn't have a great bladder. Just going to assume. I'm playing the numbers here, right? Yeah, I know. Whatever. You say what you want. But what could be done different? Well, he could have done a lot of things different. The dad could have, gotten help. So a manager could have or a store worker could have waited outside. But again, if not available, if you have small kids, it may not be available or somebody may not be able to help you. And so it's just a matter of time. You've got to get in there before they pee their pants. It happens. Okay. And so some people were saying, well, then he should have let a female take the two girls in there. No, I'm not letting a stranger take my two daughters to the restroom. Then people are like, he should have taken them to the men's restroom. No, shouldn't take those two young girls to the men's restroom. They have no business being in the men's restroom. Now, he could have done the same thing where he could have cleared the room, made sure everything was okay, cool, whatever. I get that. But men will be men, and men will just come in and go to the restroom whether you're in there or not with your two young girls. So I don't think he did anything wrong. The bathroom was empty. At that point, it's fair game. That's how I see it. That's just the way I see it. Okay. And maybe there were men in the men's restroom when he got there, which means you're not going in. So he did the right thing, went to the men's restroom. Could things been different? Sure, they could have. It weren't. But again, he cleared the restroom first. This didn't affect this old man. It didn't affect him at all. His mother-in-law could have waited 30 seconds. If not, I'm sorry, but here's the real thing, right? When you use a public restroom, they're not always available. Any of you who have had the fear, if you know what the fear is, and gone to a public restroom, they're taken, you're screwed. Like, you don't have a choice. And so my biggest thing about this was, who cares? Who cares that this dad took his two young daughters into the women's restroom? Who cares? His kids have to pee. Maybe the men's was full. Take them to the women's. I've done it. I did the exact same thing this guy did. And you know what? A woman walked in while I was there. And you know what? I told her, I said, I'm sorry, I've got my young daughter here with me. Can you give me a moment? Sure. No problem. And I've done it multiple times. I've never, ever, ever had anybody complain. Not a one. In fact, when I walked out, they all smiled like, good job, Dad. So he didn't do anything wrong. Could have been handled different, sure. But my biggest point in all of this is stop interjecting yourself into other people's problems, whether in real life or online. Who cares? Why are you stressing yourself out with other people's problems? That man could have stayed outside, stayed with his mother-in-law, and been done. Or how about take his mother-in-law into the men's restroom? Could have done that. There's nothing wrong with that. If the bathroom's clear, send her in. You can post up outside the door, hey, hold on, my mother-in-law's in the restroom. Like, both sides can handle it differently. However, I'm siding with the dad on this one. I am. But again, stop interjecting yourself into other people's problems, whether in person or online. Social media has made lives so much more stressful. And if you guys have noticed, I haven't been posting a lot on Instagram. I'm just kind of taking a break. I'm still doom scrolling. But I just, posting takes a lot. Creativity takes a lot out of you. And I think part of it is not being in the field anymore. I don't have the, it's not motivation. I don't have any new content coming in, right? I have to rely on content I already have. However, there's plenty I can review online, hence this video here. But why are you, and I wanted to comment on that video. I really did. I wanted to comment because it drove me up the wall, but in all reality, it's not my problem. It's not. It's just, I've got to take a step back. I've got to look at it as, you know what? It's not my problem. I feel bad for the dad. I'm glad that he stood up for himself. I'm glad that he did what he did. I don't fault him in any way. I think he's in the right. And the old man pisses me off. And that's where I want to interject. And I think for a lot of first responders, I'm sure a lot of you are the same way, where, you know, I got into this business. I got into public safety because I wanted to help people. And one of the things about me when I was growing up is I hated bullies. I hated them to a point where I was the one who would stop the bullies from doing things to other kids. I did. And I've been told I get that from my dad. And for me, I wanted to jump in and light this old man up, but it's just, is it worth it? It's not. What's it going to accomplish? Nothing. It's going to stress me out. I'm going to get a bunch of hate comments, you know, and whether I'm in the right or the wrong, people are still going to argue. People will argue with you over anything. So why are you putting yourself into the position where you're going to get more arguments? It just doesn't make sense to me. And so I think what we need to get back to, you know, I understand our job and our role as public safety is to interject ourselves into other people's problems, right? But then we're done. We get in, we get out, we're done. We're not getting that feedback constantly for the next 6 months over a comment you left. And I think a lot of us are against the bullying and things like that. And so I think for being online, there's so many people online bullying. Now I know I've stated bring back bullying and things like that, but I mean it in a different context. But we are here to protect those and help those that need it. But you gotta back off online. You do. It's. I guarantee you, your stress level will drop tremendously. And yes, I'm a troll. Don't get me wrong. I can troll, but I only troll on my page. I don't like to troll other pages. I do some, but it's rare. And so I don't like to because I don't want to be that guy, right? Because again, I'm here to do good. That's just the way it is. That's what I got into the industry for. But I'm glad that this worked out for the young man and the two daughters. Apparently, the cops did show up. They did talk to him. Obviously, they talked to the old man, and basically they told the old man, "You're in the wrong. The guy did nothing wrong. He's in the right. Didn't break any laws. Right? There's no law." So, all in all, it was a good thing. It turned out it worked out okay for the young man and the two daughters. But that old man, he didn't need to interject himself into this guy's problems. And not that it was really a problem, because it's not. As a dad, you understand what I'm saying. But he did everything right. So I hope it all paid off. There's a lot of rumors online. If you know what video I'm talking about, or if you search out the video, there's a lot of rumors that flew after it. Be careful with what you see, because a lot of it's a lie, right? But again, stop interjecting yourself with other people's problems. It's not worth it. It's not. So anyways, that's all I got for you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And